There aren't very many of them as yet, nor are they back on British soil. But the safety of Cyprus offers the next best thing for the around 40 on board an RAF flight which touched down there this evening. They were on the first UK civilian evacuation flight out of Sudan, part of a round-the-clock operation going on overnight and into tomorrow, so long as a ceasefire continues to hold. But these first rescued British civilians make up just 1% of the estimated 4,000 in the country. So why so few? Well, the advice from the Foreign Office about what would-be evacuees should do changed during the day. And those trying to get out say the UK government's response has been slow. Germany has got all its citizens out. Another couple of hundred of ours are expected overnight.
Safe at last. The first RAF flight minutes after it landed, with around 40 people rescued from Sudan. And then the first sight of those who made it out, including children, with much needed food and drink being provided. They'd managed to leave the capital Khartoum just as a 3-day ceasefire took hold, as people began to emerge on the streets, making this operation feasible. Fatima Gita, who lives in Scotland, said her sister spoke to British officials today, but there was little clear detail.
They told her, well, yes, there is an evacuation plan. You can go to a place called Wadi Sayidna. It's far from here. And they didn't give her any kind of precise information, like what time, how, okay, it's happening again. What time this will happen, the evacuation. And they didn't give her any guarantee that they can take her on this evacuation plane.
Elizabeth Bowie was a teacher in Sudan and had to leave with little more than what she was wearing. She was evacuated to Djibouti with the help of French diplomats and soldiers. And with more rescue missions in the coming days, she had this for the British government.
My advice would be that they need to be contacting. We had the FCO, when you leave your information on there, they have Sudanese phone numbers, messages, and they have email. Some people still have access to some internet. They have to get hold of people individually or in their group so that they can let them know what's going on.
Till now, Djibouti has been the main base for other Western countries who've done exactly what the British military is doing now.
Amongst the numerous Western military powers operating here, one of the most successful in extracting expatriates out of Sudan have been the French. And their overall commander here told me that the operations continue to be extremely difficult and challenging.
He says time is of the essence and future rescue missions will need Sudan's ceasefire to hold.
Les évacuations sont possibles si la situation reste.
Evacuations are still possible, he told me, if the situation stays calm. Therefore, it's essential that the ceasefire continues so that people from as many different countries can get out. Until now, those Britons who have got out have had to fend for themselves, queuing with other foreign nationals to find any transport out. Now their country is able to come to their aid directly. Raghi Omar, News at 10, Djibouti.
Well, as Raghi mentioned, the RAF rescue flights are taking British nationals from the Wadi Sayidna air base north of the Sudanese capital Khartoum on the journey lasting 3 hours, or roughly, to Cyprus. And James is there. The first flight has now arrived. James, how is the operation going so far?
Well, we understand a second plane has just landed around the other side of Larnaca Airport here. A third is on the way. We know that a fourth aircraft, a military transport aircraft, left Akrotiri earlier today. That's the big RAF base here in Cyprus, heading for Khartoum. So those four we know about. The numbers we don't know anything about on any of those other aircraft. The people are being kept separately at the moment in the old Larnaca Airport. We're told they're going to be put on charters and flown home sometime within the next 48 hours. But we've been given no chance to see them or speak to them or ask them about their experiences so far. That possibly may happen tomorrow. The worrying thing is that so few were on that first flight, only 40 on an aircraft that is built to take 130 fully equipped troops, so it could take more civilians than that. It does suggest that people may have been having trouble getting to this airbase in order to be picked up. But if the pace doesn't pick up, I mean, 2,000 to 4,000 people were told, maybe a max of 150 to 200 per aircraft. This if they don't get everybody out before the ceasefire ends, there really will be questions asked about why it started so late, so much later than countries like France and Germany.
OK, James, thank you very much indeed.